Hello. All right. Welcome 2020 Wildcats. All right, so a couple of thank yous as we get started. Before we get to the really fun stuff, first of all, I want to thank the group of men behind me, the coaches. Really appreciate everything that they do. Makes my life awesome. So thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. I'd like to thank all of the wives. Also, the amount of time that they give up to be here is pretty insane. And so, you know, obviously, just want to thank them, specifically there, Ellie. Next, I want to thank Mike Crocker for kind of making all this stuff happen. Thanks, Mike. Samantha Nash, my secretary, unbelievable what she does for this program. I know that it's not out front and not visible, but the amount of time that we get to coach football and not worry about the administrative side is unbelievable. I want to thank the administration, Dr. Metz, Coach Sivo, all the above, because of so many factors this year, right? I mean, getting back from COVID, getting back to what we were really scared points in the year. I want to thank Rachel Perez, our Booster Club president, unbelievable. Went to bat for us big time in the, during the COVID times. Also, and last, I want to thank the parents. Unbelievable. This community, absolutely unreal. The support that we've seen in the last 3 years. Next, 2020 season. There's pretty much every possible thing that you could say as obstacles to overcome. Every single day there's 30 for 30s, and there's things about how people overcame unbelievable obstacles to accomplish great things. And if you ask me right now, I would say that this season is probably something that could go on a 30 for 30 from when we, losing COVID, construction. There's a whole bunch of people out there that have no idea. All they see is 11-1, and they come and talk to me all the time, and they're like, man, okay, unbelievable, absolutely. But do they understand that we walked in the locker room during 2 days with nothing but a piece of board? Do they understand that half of the stuff wasn't complete, that we were watching video in weight rooms, sitting on benches, on plyometric boxes? There's some unbelievable things that this group has accomplished, and it's a credit to y'all. It's a credit to the men behind me, this community, but it's 100% a credit to the people in this room. 2020's first ever, okay? Last year, we were able to have the banquet, and we set a whole bunch of records and a whole bunch of things that happened last year, and everybody thought kind of in the middle of this, like, holy smokes, how can we top that? How can we possibly beat what happened in 2019? 2020's first ever undefeated regular season. 11 consecutive wins, 11-win season, outright district championship, first time in school history, undefeated district record. Most points in a season was 616. Deepest playoff run in school history. First game at Kyle Field. Most rushing yards per game. 2,000-yard rushers. Most All-State nominees. Absolutely unbelievable. 2020 Tomball Memorial Wildcats. I'd like to introduce Drew Sexton, our defensive back coach.
Okay, defensive backs, come on up.
Start over here.
DJ, you too.
Just stand up.
Okay, we'll start with Kel Berger. Kel was a starter on the varsity this season as a junior. He played both end and safety for us. Kel is extremely physical and tackles well. He knows our defense. Kel has worked extremely hard to develop the tools it takes to play defense at our level. This season he had 68 tackles, 2 interceptions, and he was honorable mention all district and was academic all district. We're excited to have Kel come back this year and be a leader on our defense. That's why he makes a ton of plays. Kel Berger.
All right, first up, I'd like to introduce Cameron Jernigan. Cameron played quarter for us this past year, but probably his biggest contributions came as a kicker, where his consistency played a huge role for us. On kickoffs, he was responsible for 4 of our 5 touchbacks. He was also a steady influence on extra points, making over 20 PATs throughout the season. Overall, Cameron, awesome kid to be around. It's been a pleasure to coach you this past year, and you'll be missed. Cameron Jernigan, everybody. DJ, come on. Before I talk about DJ, DJ is a group of 5 really special seniors. DJ, Josh, Trey, Alex, Hayden. The 5 of y'all all were starters as sophomores, right, when I became a varsity coach. Y'all are a really special group for both the program and myself. All of y'all were 3-year starters, like I said. It was a real pleasure to coach all of y'all. Overall, the 5 of y'all were responsible for 580 tackles, 16 sacks, 11 interceptions. As a group, the 5 of y'all have now hold 8 team superlatives, and y'all's overall record is 29-6, including 3 playoff victories. I just want to thank all 5 of y'all, DJ, Alex, Hayden, Josh, Trey. The 5 of y'all will always be really special to me, and I appreciate it. All right, now DJ. DJ Street. DJ played all over the field for us this past year, as he has throughout his distinguished career. But by the end of the year, he was back at his natural, original position of safety. Again, DJ made plays all year. He finished with 24 tackles and 5 pass breakups. His outstanding play earned him All-District Honorable Mention DB. DJ, man, it's been a great 3 years. Been through some ups and downs, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Good luck going with everything going forward.
All right, next I'd like to introduce Coach Woodard and have the wide receivers from 2020 come to the front.
All right, it's my honor and privilege to introduce the group of wide receivers from this year, starting with number 7 sophomore Chase Lubbock. Chase started all 12 games as an inside wide receiver as a sophomore and did a great job for us there. He had 20 catches for 331 yards and 2 touchdowns, added 165 yards on 19 carries and 2 more touchdowns rushing. Chase was an honorable mention all-district wide receiver, and we're looking for Chase to take up a big leadership role within this group next year. Chase Lubbock. Number 12, senior Jake Farrell. Jake is a 2-year letterman, started games at inside and outside for us in his 2 years. He's one of those kids that doesn't say a word, but just goes about getting his job done. We had a word count on him one time to see how many words he said in a day, and we got him 9. We're going to miss Jake. He's heading off to the University of Cincinnati to be a mechanical engineer. Jake Farrell. Number 14, senior Joseph Manjack IV. Manjack was one of the undisputed leaders of this group this year. He played 8 games at wide receiver, had 46 catches for 1,008 yards, 16 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions. He started 3 games at quarterback and threw for 349 yards and 3 more touchdowns. In between 2 spots, he rushed for 1,007 yards and 14 more touchdowns and 2 more 2-point conversions. He's the school's first 1,000-yard receiver and 1,000-yard rusher in the same season. He's headed to play football at the University of Southern California and majored in kinesiology. Joseph Manjack. John Benning. John was one of our kids that was bit by the injury bug this year. Broke his collarbone, scored a touchdown versus Klein. Came back and broke his hand like the second play back, trying to catch a ball. But didn't miss a beat, got it casted up and moved over and tried to play a little defense for us this year. And did a great job. In between all that time, he caught 16 balls for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's headed to Texas State University to major in finance. John Benning. Number 19, senior Caden Shannon. Caden's been a big part of our football program here for the last 4 years. This year, he kind of bounced around all over the place. He had 1 catch for 30 big yards. Caden is off to Texas Tech next year, where he's going to major in science and plans on going into dentistry. Number 19, senior Caden Shannon. Sophomore, named Tony Espen Ramos. Espen played all 12 games for us this year. He had 4 catches for 69 yards and a couple of what he calls Reggie Bush moments, where he ran the ball. He had 12 carries for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. We're looking for big things out of Espen next year. Espen Ramos. Number 80, senior Colby Mercer. It's something about these wide receivers when they get their hands on the ball, other than catching it, they think they're the greatest running backs of all time. Colby had some phenomenal moments running the ball this year. He had 9 carries for a Derrick Henry like 92 yards. That's over 10 yards a carry. Colby is heading next fall to enter the HVAC program at Lone Star College. We're going to miss Colby. Number 80, Colby Mercer. Sophomore, number 81, Corey O'Brien. Corey played a big role this year on our kickoff return unit. He had some great spots where he caught some clutch balls as a return guy. He also had a catch for 7 yards this past year, but he's working into a much bigger role for us this next year in our offensive unit. Number 81, Corey O'Brien. Number 84, senior Logan Freeman. Every group needs that kid that's going to put up a smile on your face no matter what happens, and Logan is that guy. He always showed up with a joke ready to go or some way to make fun of me that made everybody laugh. Logan is headed to the Coast Guard in the fall and going to serve our country in that way. Number 84, senior Logan Freeman. Number 88, senior Christian Jernigan. Christian is a phenomenal young man that will do whatever is asked of him anytime you ask him. We had him play at practice almost at every single one of our spots on offense as the wide receiver. Christian has made the decision to join the Army after high school and reports to Fort Jackson on June 7th. Christian, we appreciate all you've done for us and your decision to serve our country. Number 88, senior Christian Jernigan. Your 2020 wide receiver of the year. Started the year on the injured list with a hamstring problem, but when he got back on the field, boy, did he take off. He was the second leading receiver on this group. He had 27 catches for 531 yards and 5 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. He was voted first team all-district wide receiver, an academic all-district selection, and a second-team Texas High School Coach Association academic all-state. Your 2020 wide receiver of the year, senior number 12, Jake Farrell.
Next up, I'd like to introduce Zach Kelly and the defensive line.
All right, guys. So before I introduce these guys, I want to let you know that this group right here is the unit that I might be the proudest to ever have the opportunity to coach in my career. I'm fortunate to be a part of this group because of different reasons. The grit and grind of this group is unmatched. When you watch this group play, it is effort that you notice, it is the toughness that you notice, and it is the drive that these men have that they will not be denied that captures you. Each one of these men has a different skill set, but the one thing they have in common is the enormous heart that they have and displayed for 12 weeks. This group totals a combined 170 tackles, 13 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback pressures, and 3 caused fumbles. Guys, I thank you for all the practices, all the games, all of the time, and all the sacrifices you've made. Appreciate you guys. So the first guy I want to introduce is Tristan Tran. Christian is a senior this year. He's a guy that can play both nose and tackle for us, kind of flipping flopping with however we need it. He's a guy I felt comfortable with. Do his job, get in there and do a great job. He's a guy who plays with great motor, a guy who flies around. He always has a smile on his face, and I know we always practice hard. Aside from the football field, Tran excels in the classroom. He's an academic